80-year-old, older people. We're all learning how great our power is. So I'm listening to those people, my mother, her sister, and then the wife. So one of the first thoughts that went through my mind is like, we sit around all day, or people sit around all day on social media, complaining about what life was like 60, 70 years ago. We're old reparations, they were mistreated. And the people that actually lived during that time, they loved it.
They did.
And talk and listen and wish that things were, and they said, oh, we was the first people in our family, in our neighborhood to have a phone. And everybody came to our house to use the phone. And it was a party line. And you pick up other people's phone calls and you listen, blah, blah, blah. And we have rec parties and blah, 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 all this stuff. And it was great. And we were so safe. You could walk down the street at night and blah, blah. This is all you hear from them, is how great things were. And I started thinking about, like, okay, and then I started thinking about my childhood and how great it was. And what has changed, the most dramatic change I think we've had is this social media deal, because my auntie started complaining about when her grandkids or whenever they get together, go out to dinner and everybody's just staring down at their phone and they're not engaging with each other. And it made me think that one of the biggest issues we have right now is that people aren't living their lives for the attention and the approval of the people who are actually in their lives.
Right.
When you go back 60, 70 years ago, all you had was family to entertain you. You spent all your time thinking about what's mom and daddy gonna think, what's granddaddy gonna think. Oh boy, you don't want to piss off your grandma. Now people sit around and obsess about what's social media. Am I gonna get retweeted? Is this gonna be liked? Is this TikTok video gonna go viral? And we're doing all these things for people we'll never meet or know.
Right.
And the approval and the attention that people will never meet and know, and then it's also shaping how we view the world. And how we view the world used to be on, okay, there's my family who I engage with the most, then I got friends who I engage with, then I got some teachers and coaches that I engage with, and then I got my church family who I engage with, and now it's someone in another state, maybe in another country, or maybe it's just a bot that we're catering all of our behaviors towards their approval and their attention, and we're wondering why we're in each other's throats and why we have such a negative view of the world. Because it's like when I go home and get into that little bubble of family and just talking to family or whatever,
Yeah, for sure. I sat with my grandmother's siblings this weekend and listened to my aunt, who is 87, just talk about how for her entire, life or childhood, she thought they were rich. It wasn't this message of oppression or that they were beat down and that everyone was so racist. She actually talked about how good her childhood was. And as I looked at pictures that were on the wall and I saw how well dressed they were and how they carried themselves with class, I could see why, people such as those would say, what would my grandmother think? What would my mom think? Because they carried themselves in a way that you wanted to impress them because they were impressive. And I look even just at the kids today, they don't care what their parents think. You're absolutely right. It's all about social media. And of course, people being on their phones constantly. My kids have asked me, Mom, how did y'all entertain each other? Because we did, you know, we didn't get together and get on we didn't have phones back then. And so now me and my classmates, we get together a lot. We don't have our phones out because that's not what we're used to. We get together and we talk and we laugh and we crack jokes and we talk about old times and we enjoy each other. Now people can be right in the same room and will text. Opposed to talking, you know, or upstairs, Mom, can you take my drink out the freezer or something? You know, it's like kids just want to text now, and so they claim that they've made communication easier, but we definitely communicate less. There's no substance there. There's no real connection because everything is about the phone. And I was telling you earlier before we went on air how it was just nice to watch like my oldest uncle dance around. He's 94 years old. I didn't post any of that stuff. We do have some video clips because of course we would like to share, you know, years from now. But it wasn't like he wasn't doing it for social media. It was for us as a family, and as we danced and we laughed and we talked, it was really just about us being in our little bubble and enjoying each other and being comfortable. You ain't got to be on because this is the people that know you, you know. And we are missing that now.
I was, as you were talking, I was sitting there thinking about going over to my grandmother's apartment as a kid and how much entertainment we would get. And let's say we went over there once a month. But firstly, every time we would get out her photo album and spend an hour just clicking through photos we've seen before and having conversations about, and so that was Auntie Ann, what was she, blah, 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 and conversations and all that. And it's like, we think like Facebook is superior, but it's not, because, you know, people are taking pictures of every meal they eat.
Oh, God.
They post it on Instagram, and it's all inconsequential things. But mostly, what I think the internet has done is disconnected us from the relationship that God wants us to have. He wants a parent's voice to be the loudest and most powerful voice a child. The internet has made it the most powerful child is. And the learning doesn't care about their kids, and the release their kids, all these other influences. And so it's all along the same when we were talking this morning about these viral practices that are going on. And why would kids do this? Why would they run around and people with TikTok and all those things? They're constantly doing things for the attention of people who don't care about them. They're not doing this videos to show their mom and dad or their brother and sister. It's to get attention, to go viral. And so I want to play some of these. This is, I think, the first one's a video of some guy prank robbing someone, and he gets exactly what he deserves for doing that.
Jesus. Get off me. What? Jeez. It's a plane. Oh! You with it? Is it the on off? Is it bad, bro? I probably won't eat it.
Guys out doing viral videos, pranking people, pretending to rob them. I'm glad someone punched him and put a hole in his nose. That's what he did.
Yeah, he goes, is it bad, bro? Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Here's a guy that was running around pretending like he was pouring gasoline on people's cars and he was going to light it on fire.
Come on, man. Running your car down, bro. Your car, man. Over. Follow this. Yeah. Over. Uh-huh.
What are you going to do?
Come on, man. You stay out of this. I don't want to do that. You almost died, you stupid son of a bitch.
Guy comes out, pulls his gun on the guy. I don't blame him. I mean, this is lunacy that this internet has us out doing for attention. I think there's a guy, maybe this isn't America, maybe it's Australia. There's some guy that's walking into people's homes and having conversations with them. Let's play that.
James, come to the front door right now, please.
That's the other thing I've been talking about for years, is that social media has turned everybody into a performer. It's a stage. And so people lean into dishonesty and they start saying things that'll sound good on Twitter or on social media that don't really reflect their true feelings.
Right. I was looking at this and I was thinking a couple things. One, pranks have really evolved because I remember me and my friends as young girls, we would pull out the white pages and we would call somebody in there and say, hey, Mr. Johnson, is your refrigerator running? And when he say yes, oh, you better go catch it. Or, a little bit more evil maybe was when we saw a married couple and we would say, hey, Gladys, this is Barbara. Tell your husband the baby needs some Pampers. We would do that at sleepovers, but we were never making people feel like their lives were in danger. And yes, they are doing it for clicks. I think the camera phone was the worst thing to happen to people. You look at kids now when they have fights. Back in the day, if you thought you were losing the fight or, maybe you would surrender and walk away and it is what it is. Now kids know that they have the camera on them, so they won't walk away from a disagreement. They're going to go above and beyond just in case it goes viral. They don't want to look embarrassed, so they'll go through with things that they may not have gone through with just for the likes, like you said. And I think the camera phone has been terrible for society, but especially for these teenagers who can't decide quite yet between right and wrong, and all they think about is my ego or my popularity could be ruined from this. And so I've seen kids that I know are not fighters. I just saw a young lady who I grew up with her dad. She's not a fighter, but she had all of the cameras on her, and approach the teacher, to fight the teacher. This is something that I think normally kids wouldn't do, and I certainly would not have done it growing up. But now kids feel this pressure to perform for the cameras.
It's so dangerous too when so many kids are wired to think that disrespect is the worst thing that could happen. If you're not going to disrespect them, the audience, World Star Hip Hop is their audience.
Yeah.
And World Star Hip Hop love stupidity and violence and just random acts of chaos. I don't know, it's really sad. I've thought about this quite a bit. Again, over the weekend, I was talking with older people in my family and us just sitting around reminiscing about how great things were before all of this technology and before, again, because kids don't even know how to entertain or engage with each other in an entertaining way. And it's why I love going home and playing cards and talking. We've been doing that for probably 300 years.
Right.
Longer, we know.
Right, and we can just sit around and talk about anything or nothing, and it's very entertaining. We didn't do that this go round at our family reunion, and my kids were disappointed. So they said, so we're not going to go to the hotel and sit out in the lobby and talk, because they look forward to that. That's not something that they do with their kids, but everybody was tired, and we had a birthday, they were going to the casino, so we don't do that anymore, but I love those opportunities, and I like people who have no phone environments. There are a couple of parties that I've been to in my city where they don't allow you to bring your phone out. For one, it makes you engaged, but number two, so people can be relaxed without feeling like everything I do is going to be recorded and put on the internet. Like, we're so busy behind the camera that we don't really enjoy the moment. So it's like the memory is gone because it wasn't there to start with.
I'm wondering if, like, restaurants, if there's not some restaurant that should start a trend. And did I just go to House of Cards here in Nashville? I think they said you couldn't bring out your phone. I think that's one of the stipulations. Don't bring out your phone because people don't want to be photographed, and they said no pictures. But I wonder if restaurants should maybe start with if it's a no phone environment, because again, I see those videos of people out in restaurants and some random woman will come up. This happens like down in Florida, these vacations, and someone will come up and they'll start twerking inside.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if there's no camera, I don't think they would do it.
Yeah, I don't either, because it's not for the people around. It's for social media land. Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's all for us today. We'll play some tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow.